listening to the Kingdom Lung Podcast from the LUM.
Give it just a minute or so, get everything set up. I don't have any music to play, so one of these days I'll get a little more professional.
It'd be all right, buddy.
Let's see. Looks like we're streaming. Good. And we'll wait until we get a couple of viewers. That pops up a bit, but the last couple I did was good. As much as we pay for internet, it should be good. Okay. Let's see if anybody's going to show up here. I think we're in good shape. There we go. Got one person coming in. We could make a poll real quick. Okay. Anybody out here? I didn't want to do that. Let's go back to dashboard. There we go. Three people. Anybody that's out there right now, go ahead and give us a sound check. Make sure that you can hear us before we get started.
And hello to the 3 people, 2 people watching.
It is a little bit early tonight, but it's Friday, and this will be recorded and it'll be shared on multiple platforms. So anybody at all can give us a sound check. Make sure that our sound's going through. I really need to get some intro music. One viewer. They might be driving right now. I wish you could see. I can see that we're streaming, but I can't see.
Well, hold on. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's make sure it's going through.
Yeah, let's do this.
We'll just check the sound ourselves.
Isn't that usually how it goes?
Yeah.
Put it on your page, right?
No, this is on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes. It should be streaming live right now.
Hey, there we go.
All right, hit that sound. Make sure that we're up. That's good.
Hey, look there, sound check.
All right. Wow. A little bit of latency, huh? Cool. Okay. We've done our sound check. We're going to go ahead and get started. And this can go on as long as it absolutely needs to, okay?
No, it can't go on too long, man. I'm old. I gotta go take the pawpaw nap, okay?
Before we get started, this is our live stream with Mack Mcgregor, our future Lieutenant Governor. And we're streaming live here on Silent No Longer on Facebook. And I'm also streaming for Small Town Underground on the YouTube channel. We're going to make sure that we get this out so that we can get it shared in as many places as we can. And so if you're not going to be able to join the live stream, and I'm sure there are going to be some people that's going to come in, you can at least share it, and we're going to get to know all about Mack and why that we as the admins at Silent No Longer support Mack as Lieutenant Governor. Before we get started, and just to let everybody get out, just to get it out of the way, we did have a fellow brother, a patriot brother, who helped us start Silent No Longer, and has always been active behind the scenes and up in front with all the things that we've done. Mark Harris, he passed away a couple of evenings ago. He was my brother-in-law, and I know a lot of people have been calling and reaching out, and I appreciate it. And I thank you for all of the thoughts and the prayers, and that we continue to remember the family at this time, and our family, and our Patriot family. And it's very sad when we lose a fellow person who stands up with us and what we're all about. So we pray for the Harris family, and Mark was a lot of help in everything that we've done in Silent No Longer and through the proclamation and everything in this county. So he will greatly be missed. But so if you haven't already heard about it, that's what happened there. So anyway, so I want to start this evening. I'm going to introduce Mack. I'm sure the majority of everybody out there knows him. He's all around Georgia. He's running for lieutenant governor. He's trying to get in there and clean up the swamp of Georgia. He's trying to get in there and eradicate all the bureaucracy and all of the liberal progressivism that our state's facing now. He is a fighter. I've known him for a while now, and I've come to respect him a great deal, and I put my support behind him as lieutenant governor. If you look at Butch Miller, who I don't have any idea who Butch Miller is, but I just know that his commercials look an awful lot like Governor Kemp's did. Very short and catchy, and some of the same old stuff that you just get from that kind of political atmosphere. And you're not going to get that here tonight, because what we've done is we created this live stream so that people, anybody, can ask him any kind of questions they want to ask him and get to know him. No holds barred. Everything will be asked. All the comments will be heard. And here we're not mainstream news. You come straight to the source and get the information that you need to get. And I think that's a great thing. And it doesn't happen all the time. So but this is a pretty open forum, and I'm fixing to hush, and I'm gonna let Mack talk about himself, and then we'll kind of get started, let some people roll in. So come on, Mack.
All right. Really, there's not really much to talk about me other than I was a Marine from 1993. I'm 51 years old. I have fought for this country, and it seems like now I'm having to step up and fight for it again. Because the main question is why are we having to fight within our own country? Why do we have to do that? We shouldn't have to be doing that. I've got 4 lovely daughters, 8 grandkids, so you automatically should know where I stand about kids, okay? Because I'm one of them people that protect my children, I protect my family, and I love my family, because it's always been about God, family, and country, right? That's Marine Corps motto. But some people go, well, Mack, why are you stepping up to fight? Well, when the government proceeded to walk through my door and tell me what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and if I don't do it, I get punished, we have a problem. So here I am today, standing here, fighting for the system, okay? Because literally, we got to get this under control, or we're going to end up in a communistic way. And that's all it is to it. And it's time to end it. It's time to put an end to it. It need to be done and over with. So, stepping up, and I'm proud to do it. I'm proud to serve again. I mean, it gives me something work to do. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy out there right now if you think about it, because 20 years ago they would have been calling you a crazy conspiracy theory tinfoil hat wearing person. But it seems like I've been getting phone calls today going, Mack, what do we do about it? I tell them, jump in my back pocket and I'll show you the way.
Amen.
So,
yeah, absolutely. And that's very true. We just had a conversation right before we went live about how, we're kind of in uncharted territory where they don't know how to handle people like Mack and people like the 2A movements and things, and even a Marjorie Green, somebody coming out of complete left field that's not owned, that doesn't have any stake in the game, that's able to just walk in and look at everything for what it is, you know, and we're in a, it's actually a good thing, better than we ever has. We're more plugged into the politics, we're more plugged into the structure and the game and how it works, and to be able to have people like Mac step up, which is more than I could ever say for myself or any, you know, that they are willing to sacrifice their time and their life to try. That they're not owned by the GOP or any kind of groups. They're just normal, everyday American citizens that want to make the state and the country stronger, and they don't know how to handle that. They're very fearful of people like Mac, and by rights they should be, because that's chipping away at the structure of what they've created for themselves, you know. And not anything that they have created is for the people. It's all for themselves. All right. So, Mac, let's talk a little bit about you're here from Georgia and you're running. So, kind of give us a little bit of insight about how what led you to this, you know, and where your line in the sand was that you decided you were going to take this on. You know?
Well, actually, it started with our county commissioner, because literally when somebody tells me that they use Google Earth to find code violators in your local area for like messed up land or trash in your yard, then I've got a problem with that, okay, because that's called the Patriot Act. Okay, then when you got somebody that's not intelligent enough that's going to tell you that anybody with a badge or a gun can come rolling up on your property, then I've got a problem with that. Then when I've got a District 53 sitting state senator, Jeff Mullis, running around talking trash about people and calling people enemies of the state, we got a problem, because you're calling an American an enemy within inside of America. Okay, you don't do that. And you certainly don't sweep a whole... Look, when he took that double barrel shotgun and swept a whole... everybody in there.
I was there that day, yeah.
I was like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's either showing ignorance or it's just flat out ignorance. I'm just going to say it. It's ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay, no common sense at all. Okay, now, when I've got people like that that are in elected spots telling me this, showing me this, then we've got a problem here. So literally somebody needs to step up and slap them around a little bit and go, hey, look, you need to stop. If not, then you need to move on.
It was quite a show, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know.
I don't think anybody was really expecting that
No.
either. And that brings me to a good point. So here we are in Georgia, SB 319, which is the constitutional carry bill, that is coming up. All right, I believe the last I heard it made it through committee.
Yeah.
And we do have a lot of strong organizations that are down in Atlanta right now, and they are fighting tooth and nail for this. But you go back to that day in our Murchie, and we have a sitting senator, a career senator, that all of this time, you have to wonder why our gun rights are even being questioned, right?
Right.
And I can tell you from personal experience, as somebody who's only been in this for a couple short years, learning the system, when it approached people like this sitting senator and wanted, to make sure my Second Amendment rights were secured, they simply told me, do you not know any better? You live in the state of Georgia. What could you possibly think is going to happen to your gun rights? And yet, here we are in this state, faced with all kinds of draconian legislation over the past couple of years about literally taking guns away, taking the right to bear arms and protect ourselves away. So, when I say that was a big show, here you have a sitting politician that has been able to pass this legislation for, a couple of decades.
Yeah.
Whether we needed it or not, right? But you're going to try to make me feel crazy for questioning my gun rights. And now all of a sudden you're political strategy for this next election is we're going to pass constitutional carry. I mean, if you just heard me explain it, and I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I can kind of see that as a political ploy. I mean, you see the routine here. So how is that? That doesn't tell me very much about people being in my corner, right? Those aren't people that are standing up for me, right? And
they've been up, and the question is, you've been up there how long? Your state legislators have been up there how long? Some of them been up there 20, 30 years. And you're just now wanting to pass constitutional carry? I mean, I understand that you might not be able to get it passed. But the thing is that when we look and see that you tried to pass it, but it got turned down, we can go for something like that.
Absolutely.
But being up there 20, 30 years and never bringing it up, we've got a problem with that.
And with the fact that, so you bring up a bill like SB 201, which was a crazy gun bill, completely replicated from like West Coast. Oh, well, that'll never make it out of committee, right? Well, what did we hear a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to pass constitutional carry in this state, and we have it all wrapped in the bag, and then, oh, we don't know if it's going to make it out of committee.
We don't even know if it's going to make it out of committee.
I mean,
and
come
see,
on.
And the thing is about the bill that they got right now, is it full constitutional carry?
That's something you'll have, if you know more about it. I haven't researched it.
Okay, so...
Okay? So let's talk about it.
Okay, so let's talk about the bill that they got right now. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a bill moving forward to your constitutional rights. Okay, so let me make sure I'm clear on that. It's a good thing. It is moving forward to constitutional carry. Full constitutional carry, okay? So, how old do you have to be a legalized adult?
For gun, you mean 18 years old, right?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The law says when you turn 18, you're a legalized adult. You're responsible for yourself, are you not?
Yes.
So how old do you have to be to even buy a weapon?
A weapon. Oh, well, I believe you have to be 21 to buy a weapon, right? And 25 to have a gun permit, correct?
Right.
Correct.
So
Right.
we're not at full constitutional carry.
No.
Okay? Because it seems to me that would have been in the bill as well. Look, if you can drive a car at 15 to 17 up to 18 and get a driver's license at 17,
Right.
you got a more dangerous weapon than you do a gun.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference, really?
There you go. I don't
I
see
mean,
much
you
of a
know,
difference. Exactly.
all right.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm
So
with you.
let's say somebody joins the Marine Corps, all right, 17, all right, or 18. Let's just take 18 because that's when you're allowed to join. Say something happens between the time he's 19 and 20 and he has to get out.
Right.
But yet he still can't go buy a weapon even though he
Sure.
served his country and got hurt for it.
Sure.
So-
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look at the voting. They're wanting to pass a voting bill where you can be 16 to vote. I mean, I just don't understand all that either. It's crazy. It's upside down world. And I haven't looked at the legislation. I haven't been very busy. I just been watching the little video snippets of them saying, hey, okay, we've got it through committee and we've got enough votes. Still haven't seen any drafts or anything like that.
Well, I don't think they put anything out
Right.
until it gets all the way through the process, and then I guess they'll make it public knowledge. But
Sure.
I haven't heard anything about the age thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my main concern. I'm
Right.
sorry, but if you're going to make things 21, then you need to make it 21 across the board.
Sure.
Can't join the military until you're 21. You can't,
Mm-hmm.
because people keep
Well, you
bringing up
certainly can't smoke now until you're 21.
until you're 21. And now, how many people are going to go to jail over that?
Who knows?
You know?
Yeah, who knows?
So,
what other things do you see in Georgia? Like, give us a little bit on your platform. Like, what, let's say the election is tomorrow and you become lieutenant governor. What is your platform? What are you going to do?
well, first thing I want to do is protect the children of the state. That's flat out. So we need to do something about passing some kind of legislation to get rid of CRT. All that communist crap that's going on in our schools, that the indoctrination, telling the kid, trying to help him make up his mind if he's a boy or a girl. It's pedophilia, period. We don't need that. It needs to be illegal.
Right.
that don't need to be taught. Also, on top of that, if you want to get into all that, that leads up to CPS defects.
Mm-hmm.
I have been talking about that. How now, let's make sure we get this right. Not everybody's bad, okay? Because it's always the bad people making the good people look bad, and no matter who you are or where you at, there's always bad people and good people. Okay, so when I say this, it's about the bad people part, okay, the bad side of things. Because everybody knows that when the government creates something that was meant well for the people, later on down the road, it turned into a corporation.
Sure. Institutionalized, right.
So let's take CPS and DFACs. We already know that they're involved in child trafficking.
Yes.
Okay, we already know that they're involved with Planned Parenthood
Mm-hmm.
and selling the baby parts, right? Okay, so we already know that. So maybe they need to be looked into.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they need to be torn apart and put back to be more family friendly oriented. Because we already know we got judges and DAs out there that are willing to do whatever it takes for the state to receive their federal money.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, so we need to get the federal government out of our state on that.
Mm-hmm.
Prison systems, that's a new one that come up on me here lately. I do know that there is, mistreatment in the prison, okay? Not saying it's supposed to be glorified, not saying it's supposed to be an easy ride, but the abuse that does go on in there needs to be looked at.
I mean, these things you're bringing up are real reform.
Yeah.
You're talking about basically, instead of this flyover reform they call, where you're just throwing money at it, you're
Right.
talking about looking into these systems.
Yeah,
right?
if something needs to be changed, if there's a law that needs to be changed, then maybe I can help you change that.
Right.
Or, if something needs to be improved here, then we need to improve it here.
Absolutely.
Okay? We need to fix the problem before it becomes a problem.
Sure. That's what real reform is. A lot of people, when you talk about reform, people say police reform and all these things, we're getting this falsified version of this in the mainstream media. When we talk about reform, we talk about these institutions. We were talking about it before the show.
Right.
We know up in our county that it's generally a good county. It's generally, the overwhelming majority of people here are doing the right thing and doing, doing their jobs right. But when you look at what he's talking about, real reform, and this is why that I back Mack Mcgregor, because he's not sitting here saying that he's just going to, look into this stuff. Like, we're talking about setting up real investigations into the processes, the institutions, and learning everything we can about him, so that he would bring real reform, common sense reform, not breaking down these institutions or deleting them, but really getting to the source of the matter. Like, where is all this bureaucracy? Where is all of the pitfalls, and fixing it, And this is the kind of leadership that we need. I agree with you. It's one thing for people just to get up and talk about, the prison system, we just need to do away with it. We're talking about, what I think you mean is that you're talking about really putting forth the effort to get into the meat and potatoes of these, and reforming them the right way.
Yeah, they need to be.
Absolutely. Everything. Mm-hmm. Everything. Reform is not a bad thing. It's revitalizing what you already have. It's just like the America needs to be reformed, right? It doesn't need to be done away with. That's the biggest problem with these progressive liberals. They want to do away with this country. What we have in this country, this Constitution, is perfect. What we need to do is reform the institutions around the Constitution. Get back to the basics.
And how do you reform all that? How do you reform your federal government? How do you reform your state government? Then you elect grassroots people who are for the people, by the people, and then you turn around and you see that they're ordinary, everyday people.
Yes.
I work 40 hours a week. I work night shift. And then we're constantly on the road all the time, talking to people. And I promise you, everybody that I talk to are like-minded just like me about everything that's going on.
Yep.
Okay? It's really shocking, actually, because some of these people are wanting to go a little farther than doing it the legal way. I want to try to do it the legal way.
You have to.
The humane
Right.
way. Because if you've never seen war before, you're really not going to want to see it if it starts here.
Right.
And a lot of people have been talking about it, and a lot of politicians, I'm going to tell you right now, they'll back off of that question. They won't even talk about it. They will ignore it. They will walk around it. But I'm telling you, how close are we? That's the question. Just how close are we?
Think about it this way, Mac. This is the way I like to think about it. I'm not, I'm probably what I consider lower middle class. You know,
Right.
we struggle, we make money, we work as a family, but you drive a lot to work.
Yeah, I
every- don't
drive
you?
42 minutes
Man,
one way.
You got to pay for gas, right?
Right.
Now, so gas is a thing in your life. It's relevant, and
Yes.
to people like us, something like that is very relevant. Now, you look at people, and I know I'm going out of the state, but let's take Nancy Pelosi for example, or Donald Trump. Let's just
Right.
be honest about it. How often do you think that people like those people have to worry about gasoline? Right?
They don't.
Right. And no, I'm not throwing shade either way, but there's a certain tier of people that when you get, the more money you have, the less creature comforts you have to worry about, right? And my point to all this is we elect these people, and they're I don't care. I wish I was a millionaire. More power to you, but at a certain point when you stop worrying about certain things that the majority of people worry about, it becomes a non-issue for you,
Right.
And so something as simple as the price of gas, every week just to travel back and forth to work, or those things they go on the back burner of somebody who hasn't had to worry about them for years. And when you talk about somebody like Mack McGregor, these are the kind of grassroots people that we want in office, because these people are going to they won't even have to think about the gas prices when they get in.
Right.
This is the kind of people that we want representing us, because the majority of the people, we have to worry about our gas and our groceries and the inflation, and people like Mac are living through this every day of their lives, and we need more people like Mac in these offices so that they can build better systems and bring up the state for everybody, And I think it's a great thing, and so many people forget about that,
Right.
Like Brian Kemp. You think Brian Kemp's got to worry about gas? I mean, come on, man. And I'm being nice here. I'm not going to throw any shade. We'll get into all kinds of shade if you want to, but just saying, these are the people that we need representing us down in Atlanta to clean up. If you want change, this is the kind of change that we need to have.
Yeah, I mean, how much more construction do you need downtown Atlanta? I mean, how long has that been going on? I wonder what the budget is on that.
That brings another question. China, right? Now, this is something, and me and him, we haven't discussed any of this beforehand. But and when I say this, I'm not sitting here saying I'm against China in the sense of economic, relations between Americans. But when you throw out some kind of blanket statement like we're going to stop Chinese money from coming in this state of Georgia, and then turn around and you're going to add 500 new jobs to a very, very important employment service here that's owned by China. I start scratching my head because I understand what they're saying. Yes, you want to stop the flow of money from China taking over, but we need more research into that. You can't sit there and say that you're going to stop all the Chinese money and then turn around and invest. There's a legitimate Chinese money and Chinese companies that are coming in. What we need to do is we need to stop with all this quid pro quo and these fabulous headlines and get into what is
well,
this?
see, and that's the funny part. You're talking about the job situation. You're talking about building the Amazon electric trucks here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's kind of a China thing coming into the state of Georgia. It might employ 500 people, okay, because you got to remember the rest of it's going to be robots.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now where are we going to get the lithium for the batteries?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
There's
a lot of questions that need to be asked.
I mean, isn't that kind of a China thing too, the lithium for the batteries?
Oh yeah, it's a global thing. I mean, lithium is being mined in several different.
So you're
countries.
screaming, keep
Absolutely.
China out of our hats, but yet you're gonna go ahead and put them here.
Yeah, I get tired of these blanket statements. Obviously, countries like China are going to be investing. The company I work for, his Chinese investment in it. I get that. I'm not sitting here trying to put a blanket statement over everything that's coming from China is bad, but we need a little more than that. We need people that are going to dig into this stuff and not just tell us that, hey, we're just you're doing something, and while we're looking that one way, they're doing something else.
Right.
So there's a lot of things in this state. I mean, the state, obviously, let's talk about Georgia for a second. We've seen Georgia is one of a bastion of conservatism for decades and decades, and then kind of sneaking up was Atlanta, and so our big problem. I'm not going to say problem, all right? I'm not trying to make a divide here, but Atlanta is in the crosshairs of liberal progressivism,
right?
And Atlanta is the next big Hollywood. Hollywood's all but abandoned now. Yes. All of the money is flowing east, and the city's growing by leaps and bounds, and then it's almost like a huge crater in the state.
Yep.
Whereas you have these where we live, right? Highly conservative, just highly, just down to earth people, and that are living next. It doesn't matter what color you are, black, white, red, whatever. We're all here living, and we're trying to progressively live together and work together and raise our families together and do away with all these idiotic isms that get thrown at us daily.
Yeah.
But yet we have this huge crater of just liberal progressivism in the state, and it's literally turning the veins,
Yeah, and then you got Columbus, Georgia backing them up.
Sure.
And then you got Savannah, Georgia on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I think there's one more, but I can't think the name of it. But
Albany,
anyway,
Augusta,
yeah. So,
and I get it. I get why the draw to democratic sort of socialism is, what the good of the people. I'm going to institutionalize you, give you everything. You don't have to work. You don't have to worry about food. But in the end, all this does is this rips humanity away from where our purpose is on this earth.
Exactly.
And it conforms people to a system of dependency.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm being very analytical here because I'm not trying to get political. You're talking about where we live.
Well, here, okay. So let me give you an example of what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right. Are you hooked up on city water?
Actually, yes.
Okay, so you use electric too.
We use electric,
right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you don't farm, right? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So. What happens if the government says if you're not going to do what I tell you to do, what to do, and how to do it, then I'm going to punish you by cutting off your water?
Exactly. Yes.
So what are you going to do?
I know what I'm going to do, but what?
Okay, but that's the majority of Atlanta that lives in these high rises and everything else.
Yes.
But if they cut your water off, what are you going to do?
What can you do?
Okay, you already see your shelves getting empty, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got land. You got farmland.
Right.
I'm just curious because I know I can plant my meat and potatoes. Okay, I'm not going to starve.
Right.
That's the whole thing, people. If you live inside, that's the whole thing during the Obama era. Actually, because you remember back when he was trying to get everybody in the rural area.
Oh yeah.
To move into a city.
Decades.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they're still doing that today.
Leave behind what you know and come work for us in the cities. We'll put you to work. We'll give you everything you need. We'll provide. And now look where we're at. We've created a completely dependent society that have no life skills whatsoever. Would be completely devastated if the power went off, if the water went off. Now, what we're saying here, does that mean that you should move out of the cities? I mean, of course, I think you should. But what I mean is you need to start thinking more outside the box. And whenever you're under these blanket democratic progressive areas, I mean, they don't want you to think. They don't want you to think that there's something. They don't want you to question things. And that's why we get attacked so much. We live in a place where he has to get up and he has to go to work. I have to get up and go to work, in order to provide food and for my family. We're very independent people, and we live in areas that if things were, if they shut the water off, they shut the power off, we're going to be okay. Because we know we've already planned ahead. We know where our water is and where our food is and things like that. But they were creating a system, and it is in this state where you won't be able to do those things. So
right.
And it's a sad state of affairs.
See, because just recently, about a year ago, they actually ran a water line down my road. way out there ran water line down my road. Now, I've noticed that the EPA has started driving up and down my road, so I'm waiting for them to come onto my property and tell me my well is no longer drinkable, and then I have to hook up to the city water, and I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Right.
You understand what I'm telling you right now, okay? Because then that means the sheriff's probably gonna get another phone call.
Right.
All right, because that well has been there ever since the house has been there, and it was built in the 1940s.
I grew up on well water myself,
So
absolutely.
there's no reason. We have it tested, and it's the cleanest water.
It is.
Matter of fact, I can take water out of the city water and put it next to my well water, and my well water is cleaner than the city water.
There's a lot of truth to that. In fact, not too long ago at our commissioners meeting, I wasn't there, but I watched the video on it, and they were talking about the water tables, and they are putting in some new filtration pump sites in our county here, but they have not done that in so long because for decades and decades they tested the underground water table, and it's actually cleaner than the standards of water in OSHA. So, you are not wrong. I grew up on well water, and so I live close to the city, and that's what we have.
Yeah, right.
But absolutely, and that's a good thing. My brother-in-law and sister, they still have well water. I mean, I drink it all the time. But that's we choose to live outside of those laws. We question everything.
Everything.
So that's so I love what you're saying. So you've got some plans when you take over, and so what else? Tell me what you. Let's just say we've talked about Georgia, we talked about Atlanta. We know that you just can't wave a magic wand and everything.
Right, it's not going to happen overnight.
Give us a little insight on what you see the future of Georgia. Let's go 5 years down the road. Where do you think that we're going to be, or how do you envision it?
Well, 5 years down the road, I'm thinking that you're not going to have no more state taxes.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, it sound good?
Yeah,
because I'm trying to figure out why every other state around us don't have state taxes.
Right.
So what are they doing not to have it?
True.
And gas is always 10 cents cheaper in Tennessee, and they don't have state taxes.
Right.
So how about I get with the lieutenant governor up there and figure out what they're doing, and see if maybe it might be possible to say, hey, it might be okay with Georgia.
I like the sound of that.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If something's working.
Well, it's something I don't ever explore, honestly, and state taxes. I've lived here so long, state taxes is state taxes. But I know one thing, I've worked in construction, you've worked out there in construction.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times, sometimes you'll tax exempt especially if you got a big job and you need that extra money, because you're always going to pay for it out of your taxes at the end of the year. But I've learned my lesson on Georgia taxes, and well, there's one thing I'll tell you is I never withhold from Georgia taxes, because those people, I've been into it with Georgia taxes, so it's something that I need to look into.
So let's take another thing. Let's talk about our farmers.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of political people that are on the board ain't talking about this neither. How many restrictions do our farmers have from the federal level?
Right.
How about 5 years down the road, if not sooner, we get the federal government out of our farmers?
Right.
Okay? Right now, you see the problem with the fuel prices going up. I know you've seen the videos where they were dumping taters, dumping milk. Farmers were being bought off to destroy their crops. So how about Georgia becomes self-sufficient on its own?
Right.
Because once you can become self-sufficient, then start working outside your state.
Right.
See, we done gotten to the point where we're not self-sufficient, but we're more shipping stuff outside our state. And then when stuff like this happens, that's the reason why our store shelves are short. That's the reason why, we got shortages of a whole bunch of stuff.
Right. That's really good you say that, because I didn't know this until fairly recently, that one of our district representatives, I had a chance to talk with him at Christmas, and he is on Mike Cameron. I don't think he'll mind me mentioning his name, but I like Mike Cameron too, good guy. He was telling us, he's on an agricultural committee, and that I think Georgia or Walker County alone is anywhere between 60 to 70% agricultural. And the reason that stuns me a little bit is I have relatives that live, from Huntland, Tennessee, Fayetteville, Tennessee. They had 3,000 acre farms. That to me was farmland. But
Right.
you look around Walker County, you don't think about there being that much agriculture.
Right.
But really, there is.
Yeah.
And you take this up here in the mountains, we're in the highlands, and then you think about South Georgia. There's a lot of agriculture.
Yeah, and then I mean, look at the coast that we have. I mean, how much seafood do we bring in?
Right, there you go.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Hey, we got a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so why can't we be self-sufficient?
Right.
When times like this get bad, the companies need to revert back to, let's just be at the minimum, keep everybody working, and supply just Georgia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Now, if the neighboring state needs a little help, then after we do our thing, then maybe we can spread out just a little bit. But I'm not talking about across the United States.
Right.
Maybe 1 or 2 states over.
Sure.
But I wouldn't go any farther than that. And then you become self-sustaining.
Right. It leads me to another question. So, and this is I'm not setting you up here on this question, but how do you think, and it's not your responsibility, but how do you think that we can bridge some sort of gap in this two-party system that we have going on? Like how can we, or you or any of us, like how are we supposed to move forward with this progressive mindset, right? This mindset like that everybody's evil and racist and like how can we help shape our culture, right? Because you're the future future of the Republican Party, right? Like I'm a conservative first, I've joined the Republican Party and I want to see a prosperous Republican Party, but when you look at all this, like I often, how do you look at, like, you say you're going to be lieutenant governor, right? And how do you think that you'll be able to manage with Democrats and do you think there's some sort of common ground?
It's funny you talk about that because I've already been working with Democrats actually.
Right.
Okay, so don't take this wrong. Okay, because like I said, there's always the bad people making the good people look bad.
Right.
Okay, now let's take prison reform. Okay, these Republicans are here talking about it already now, but let me scoop you in on something. The last time I was in Atlanta doing a speaking event talking about prison reform, I had 3 Democrats standing right beside me. I didn't even know who they was. Matter of fact, I didn't even know that they were in the Senate, really. Okay? But then come to find out, they were 3 senators for the state, okay, legislators, and they had actually put out a prison reform bill because they wanted to know where the money was going. Okay, they wanted to know what kind of crimes were being committed in the prison system. And they got turned down every time by Republicans. So that's my thing. I'm willing to work with anybody as long as it coincides with the Constitution. Okay,
Leave the politics out of it.
Right, when it comes to humanity and it comes to the money part of the constituents, then yeah, it's my job to be transparent and let you know where that's going.
Right.
Regardless of who's putting the bill out there or regardless of who's looking into it.
Right.
You need to know where your tax money's going. You need to know who's in charge of things.
Especially
you need
if it's private prisons too, right?
Exactly.
If that's private prisons, it's supposed to be funded private, but the state is funding those prisons.
Yeah,
right?
how much did the federal got their hands in
Exactly.
it? How much did the state got their hands in it?
I seem to remember some of the border towns that had privatized prisons that were just empty sitting there, but they turned around and used them as immigration centers, and God knows how much money they were making off that. So yeah, of course, there's all kinds of, but yeah, we it seems we're so polarized politically that everything has to be politicized. We've got to figure out, I think, and this is something I've been thinking a lot about. We got to find ways to depoliticize issues, right? It's so easy in this two-party system, Republican, Democrat, right?
Right.
There's no middle ground. You have to be on one. And so you have this issue like prison reform, right? So what they do is to keep the ball rolling down the sidewalk. They put the political spin on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they keep spinning this thing, and nothing ever really gets done. And it's like, I feel like we need to figure out ways to depoliticize it. Like, stop with your party. Look at the facts, right? But people
There you go.
facts,
If you bring the facts,
right,
got the proof,
right,
then you take care of the problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Let's take a look at our judiciary system.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about polarized?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is the lady justice blind? Really?
Right.
Is she any longer blind to what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
No, because I'm sorry. When you got Democratic DAs and Democratic judges,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to vote for.
Sure.
Look, they're going to judge to either Democrat or
Right.
Republican.
It'll always be slanted, both sides.
Yeah, and I mean, are you going to be able to get rid of it all?
Yeah.
No, but can you make it better? Possibly.
Right. And then the funny thing is that when you're dealing with truth and logic and common sense, because obviously, and I'm not going to pick on the Democrat, but if you call yourself a Democrat in this day and age, I mean, you really need to question that. I mean, because of the reflection of the party. But take Kyle Rittenhouse, for example, right? Never mind all the lies and the politicization of that case, but here you had a judge that literally, if never once affiliated himself as a Republican or a Democrat, kept straight to the facts of the case, didn't put up with any of the BS that was going on, didn't care, wasn't scared of the media and the propaganda and everything, and tried the case like normal.
Yeah.
Okay? But they automatically get labeled as a far right wing, blah blah blah.
Yep.
Because but that should show you.
But that's how a judge needs to act. That's right there.
Exactly.
That is on point. When he took his oath to serve in that bench, that's exactly what he done.
Sure. And it just goes back to this whole. Well, I guess if you look at the reflection of that, and I'm just looking solely like, if you identify as a conservative, then you identify more with the truth. If you identify with a Democrat, you just identify with more of a lie. So it's something we need to think about. Now, truth doesn't seem to matter much in this day and age.
It don't.
Facts don't seem to matter.
And common sense.
Oh my God!
There's nothing left.
No, there really isn't. And that's a scary thing moving forward, and it's a scary thing moving into politics because it seems like some of these people are driving that, right? Some of these lifelong, elected officials want this confusion and thing, and that's a sad state of affairs.
It is. It is.
But I don't know what the answer is, but I know one thing. I know that if we have Mack Mcgregor up there as lieutenant governor, I know that he will not stop trying to do everything he can to strengthen this state for law-abiding citizens of this state. Let's get into that just a little bit. So look at how upside down we are. So we've got people literally breaking into brick-and-mortar stores. We have law enforcement that are getting threatened and quitting by God knows how many. Our police forces are down, morale's down. I mean, what do you intend to do as lieutenant governor to work on law reform,
well, if you're
criminal
talking
justice?
Okay, so if you're talking about your firefighters, your cops, your state troopers and things like that, first of all, reason why the morale is down in this state is not due to the fact that the Democrats in the cities are defunding the police department. Let's get that straight right now.
Okay.
What you need to realize is that they were being defunded before that even come around. If you look at the fiscal year budget for Georgia, go down there and see about the EMTs, the emergency systems, and look at how much they got cut. Then you become, then they have to start making cutbacks through the state, the local, and everywhere else.
Right.
So then you start to run thin. Because like here in Walker County has to work with the state troopers. They have band together to work here in this local area. Even the police department has gotten with the other two offices.
Okay.
Because they don't have enough employees. So then you're running double shift, triple shifts. You got state troopers that are trying to run long hours on the long roads and try to cover so much. By the time you do all that as law enforcement, you know, and I know from working long hours, at a certain point you start getting irritable.
Sure.
You start getting tired, not paying attention, and things happen.
Absolutely.
Do you mean for them to happen? Now, I'm not saying all cops are good, and I'm not saying all cops are bad. So let's just get that straight right now. Because, like I said again, it's always the bad making the good look bad. All right, so there's going to be those that are so tired, so irritable, that they'll either give up or make a major mistake. Now, some of them have made mistakes and paid dearly for it. Don't believe me? Look at the young lady who pulled the gun instead of the taser. What was the problem behind that? Was that training? Because most of the times, from what I've seen and what I know, the DPS officers that I've talked to around here, the state troopers and the sheriffs and everybody else, they carry a bright yellow taser. Okay, so there's no mistaking it.
Right.
Maybe the schooling needs to be looked at. Maybe there should be a standard of operation in the school. Okay, maybe you need to be taught that your taser goes here, your pistol goes on your side.
Right, right.
Everybody in uniform, just like the military, everybody carries everything a certain way, and that's how it is. It is a standard throughout the whole military.
And she was, 20 years?
Yeah, and she got slammed to the teeth.
Yeah. That was crazy. That was crazy.
You know,
And he's been in military. I've been in bail bonding. It's not like we're just talking out of thin air here. I've had to pull my weapon twice in 20 years being a bounty hunter. And this split second now, I've never had to shoot my weapon or anything like that, just charge rounds. And I know several officers that have in the line of duty. And nobody's taken up for any of this here. The court of law will determine based on the facts of these cases. But what I think he's trying to say, and I'm trying to say, is like the normal people, they see these video snippets, especially that are just propagandized of the media for other reasons. But these are split second decisions that are being made on a daily basis. And furthermore, you get into all the last 2 or 3 years and you add race into it, and anytime somebody who's black gets killed, and regardless of the outcome of the situation, it's politicized, right, for race. But you look in the last month alone, up to 2 months, how many officers have lost their lives in the line of duty, right?
How many of them got ambushed?
Yes, and how many of them are you hearing about in the media? How many politicians are you hearing that are standing up for our law enforcement and saying, look at this, you know? Because from what I'm gathering, just what I can find, more cops have died in the last couple of months in the line of duty than all the politicized cases in the last 2 or 3 years. And this is an everyday situation, you know?
It's becoming...
It's infuriating.
Yeah, and they're trying to normalize it. That's the whole
Absolutely.
point.
So, you know, God, we pray for our we back the blue, you know. Absolutely. We love our law enforcement.
Well, let's correct that. We back the good side of the blue.
Well,
okay?
Sure.
So
it's just like any other institution.
Well, it seems like if you don't point out the fact that you're back in the good side of the blue, you're back in the good side of the church, you're back in the good side of the government, you're back in the good side of your local government, and you're back in the good side. If you don't say that,
right.
Because they've gotten to the point where when you say, I back the blue, it's a carpet.
Yes.
No, peel the carpet back. I'm talking about the good side, not the bad side.
Yes.
Okay, because if you do something bad, the good cop should look at the bad cop and throw the cuffs on him.
Right. And it goes back to your talking about reform, right? Being self-aware. Yeah, you can say back the blue, and we all back the blue, but without proper looking into, and yes, without proper institutional reform, you know, getting rid of the elements that make that institution bad or questionable, you're getting nowhere, right? So you need people that are going to have real reform, look into it. They're not going to take sides. They're just going to walk down the line and make it right, you know? And that's a problem. We've gotten too out of that context, you know?
That and everything has been so complicated Okay, it's been complicated so bad
Like our taxes.
that nobody knows. No, nobody even knows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go in and start saving off the laws that we don't need, that are just
Amen.
unnecessary.
Amen.
Okay, let's start simplifying things. Because the more simple you make it, the better it runs.
Yeah. How easy is it to put a law into place?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it's a lot simpler than taking one away, huh?
Well, it depends on what kind of law you're trying to implement. Now,
Right.
you know, if you go in and try to do something that's
Right, I get what
a
you're
real
saying.
staunch constitutional law, common sense kind of legislation, then you're going to have problems trying to get it in, because you've got these knuckleheads up in the gold dome talking about, oh no, that's too far right, we can't.
Right.
Because they done got to the point where they think the Constitution is a far right kind of thing.
Well, let's call a rhino what it is. A rhino is about a 1980s Democrat. I mean, literally. Well, that's the problem with our party, is that we don't have any rock to stand on, right? We stand in the sand. We are constantly the party. The Republican Party is constantly the party that's constantly giving away little by little, and the other parties are just taking more and more. Why can't we draw these lines in the sand, Mac, and say you're not going to take this?
Well, the thing is, well, that's the same as all the laws that we have. You're trying to come up with new ones. How about you enforce the ones that you got on the book?
Simply
See, because you're sitting, yeah. All you got all these people running out here talking about, I'm going to become lieutenant governor. I'm going to become governor, and you're talking about, well, we need to get rid of CRT. We need to we need to make communism illegal. You do know there's a law on the books that it says communism is illegal here in the state, or not just the state, but the United States.
Sure.
Hey, can y'all enforce that?
Right. Amen. That is a good point. Enforce what we have on the books. That's why I can't understand when you get into the race baiting and the all this stuff about the Constitution. Like they want to bring up that our nation was founded on slavery and all these things.
No.
Listen to me.
No.
If the layman person can read and write will sit down and read the Constitution, right? Because time progresses. The generations progress, our thinking progresses, we all understand. There's not a single person alive that's going to say that slavery was a good idea, that it was a good thing, the Civil War, all these things. We've come so far. You sit and read the Constitution, it doesn't matter what color you are. As a citizen, if you just read that document, you could look at it as without any of the politicization and say, this is great for me. Yet we live in a society where they want to completely dismantle it. They want to do away with it.
Oh yeah,
It is insane.
Yeah, but the problem is, you know what happened? Okay, so prime example. If you don't think they can't take away your constitutional rights, you're dead wrong, because it just happened a year ago. Okay, you ready for it?
Bring it.
The day that the Capitol decided to sign all of their power over to the Kemp, because of an emergency, they did away with your constitutional rights, because they gave him sole power over the state to make decisions. And that's not how things run.
No.
So if you don't think it can't happen, they just did it.
Oh no, yeah. If you think it's not going to be an uphill battle to fight for what people like us are fighting for, I mean, it just gets worse and worse every day. Let's go ahead real quick, and we're running into an hour here, so let's go ahead and look at some comments, see if we have any questions. I urge anybody that's watching, looks like we have 3 people hanging in there with us. Surely more will be coming in, or I know more people will be watching, but let's see what we have here. Who's in tonight? Let's see. We got Tina, which she's in studio with us. Start learning to trade with your neighbors. I totally agree with that. That is something that our community, I'm telling you, and a lot of you already know, we're going to be doing a barter trade coming up in the spring. With we're going to be inviting patriots and people around the county to set up like a yard sale, except we're going to barter. We're just going to barter with goods and things we have. So that's something I'm wholly
Who needs
focusing on this year.
5.56 ammo?
Exactly.
I hope you got some good stuff.
Yep, and Mac will be there. We're gonna it's gonna be great, and you don't even have to worry about. I mean, if you want to use money, but it's gonna be barter. You set up your tables and you can trade all day long. So I think that's a great thing. We need to get back to it. Leave the fiat currency out of it.
Yep.
Looks like Chris Bill. Good evening, McElroy. Good evening, Chris Bill. Chris Bill is a great patriot from the Coosa Valley. I've done a lot of things with Chris. We appreciate you hanging in there and being a part of the conversation. And he also says, start calling these people liars when they make these claims. I couldn't agree with you more.
Oh, I have been. I have been. That's the reason why I'm not. That's the reason why some of the GOPs will not. Don't even want me to come and speak.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yeah.
I think one of them is this. HB 316 that brought in the Dominion machine and the drop boxes that Georgia's never seen. You have Butch Miller and Burt Jones and Jeff Mullis who signed on to this bill to bring those in. That is some of the reason why we're in the predicament that we're in today.
Mm-hmm.
Was it ignorance or incompetence? You three gentlemen need to explain yourself, because I'd like to see you try to explain yourself out of that one. Okay?
Yeah.
Because literally what happens is that the state election board says, I have a checkoff list. This machine did not make that checkoff list. So therefore you voted on an illegal machine.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell you, I did put a committee together because, you know, you did illegal activity by voting in an illegal machine to begin with. You cost us 20 years on a contract, 10 years to pay it off, or no, 20 years to pay it off, and we have to use it for the next 10.
Right. Oh, yeah, and each county has to pay for you've seen my YouTube channel, I covered this on one of my episodes. Every county now, starting this year, has to pay anywhere from, well, our county alone has to pay $30,000 a year just for maintenance fees on these. And the maintenance fees has to be done by Dominion. They can't be done by anybody else. So that's $30,000 more a year out of our taxpayer money that's going straight to the state, because the state will not pay for it. They made the counties pay for it.
So again, what's the Republican platform? Anybody tell me, what are the 3 things on the Republican platform? What are they? Less taxes, less government, more self-responsibility. Did they show any of that?
No.
When they did any of that?
No, and we don't even have to get into election. I'm not going to say the F word there, but I was awake that night watching when the famous State Farm water leak, the water main broke. So don't tell me, and we're not going to go here with it. We don't even have to at this point. What I'm saying is that we were all awake whenever that happened. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
But we've got a long way to go. And just to remind you, it's not even just Georgia. There was those 27 states, I believe, that signed Dominion voting contracts, and which is a Canadian-based company, which was it is a new company formed out of the old voting machine system company. If you go back and do the research, so it's the same companies that are peddling this garbage. And there is a lot newer technology. I don't know if you know who Garland Favorito is, in Georgia. I think they're a great organization. I love what they're doing. They're grassroots people that are just out there fighting. When you've got all the big wigs out there just name calling and pointing each other out, these people are just there on the lines. They don't get any respect, So I appreciate everything that they're doing. Let's see. Chris says private prisons are a big industry in Georgia.
Yes,
you are
they
not
are.
lying about that. And I fully believe that somebody like Mack in there, Lieutenant Governor, will be getting to the bottom of what kind of money these private prisons are making off of your tax dollars.
It's time to end it. You want your money back. You want your taxes lower. Then let's start. And when I say wasteful spending, that's the kind of crooked stuff I'm talking about. If you go after the corruption of all the illegal activity that's going on,
right?
Then you start saving money because you're kicking that out and giving the money back to the people.
And part of that is self-awareness, self-responsibility, right?
Exactly.
Love private prison. Privatize them, right? Private prisons can run better than bureaucratic prisons. But if they're getting state money, if they're getting federal money, then that defeats the purpose. That's money coming from your pocket. That's not money they're making by running things the right way, right?
That's it.
Absolutely. All right. She sees a little better if you have money. I'm not sure who we were talking about there. Maybe Stacey Abrams.
Probably.
Lady Justice. Yes, you're right. Lady Justice. It's always, if there's ever words, and I think I've used it about every episode, it's follow the money, right? Is always follow the money.
I'm going to follow it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to
Wherever
follow
it leads. And then Chris also says, Jeff, cold dead.
Yeah, he swept the whole audience.
You know, and what
I will never forget that.
That's the thing, man. That one time that happened, and nobody got that on video. Nobody.
No.
Nobody was recording that.
But I did have a conversation with him that day, though.
Yeah.
I literally walked in. I walked in, and Jeff Mills come running up to me like a kid in a candy store.
Of course.
He's like, "You're Mack Mcgregor." I said, "Yes, I am." He says, "You were going to run against me, wasn't you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What changed your mind?" I said, I decided to become your boss, you unconstitutional." Well, I can't go any farther than that, but that's the conversation we had.
And keep in mind, too, we're not picking a fight with Mullis. Mullis is the one that called us his enemies.
Yeah,
all right?
we don't
And
do that.
Guess what? I'm not a spiteful person. I got it all on video, Mr. Mullis. You're the one that was aware we were recording. It's not that I need to slander you in any way or say, but these are not we're not your enemies. We're here. You work for us, okay? We're the people that is holding you responsible for the last 2 decades of doing nothing for here just because somebody painted a marker red on the 14th.
And seeing what's so bad, when you did that to them, you did that to me because I'm a part of that team.
Yep.
Idiot.
Yep. And you know what? And like I said, I have to work, or I'm in the GOP, I'm working on a committee, and I can be cordial, I can be civil, because I already know, but I can tell you right now, we're going to get you out of office, and we're going to put some people in there that are going to represent the people, okay? And anytime you want to come sit down with me and you want to argue with me about it, or we want to have a conversation, I invite you to do that. I know you won't ever do it. Yeah, I know.
Put Bucky in there.
I'm telling you. Oh,
He'll
Bucky,
be working with me.
Bucky, yeah, hey, I'm all for it, you know. I'm telling you, if talking about follow the money, if it's only for money that we're not doing this thing full time. But while the Democrats can give hundreds of millions of dollars to Stacey Abrams, unfortunately, we don't have anybody in our ring that is willing to give us a little bit of money.
No, because they're trying to save their own skin and their own money.
Yeah.
And plus, they want to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
they don't want to share with nobody.
And that's fine. I don't like taking money from anybody, but I sure would love to do more of this full time and really, really strengthen our communities up here. But you know, it's enough right now that we've got what we got, because we're doing all this out of nothing, out of thin air, and that's what makes it all the more special. So, and Mac, we can go on as long or as short as you need to. What else do you want to bring up? I'm going to give you the floor and just talk to the people.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than I'm an ordinary Joe. Okay, I'm Mac the welder. Okay,
That's right.
You know, kind of like Joe the truck driver. Okay, I'm that guy. I'm not a politician. I don't walk like them. I don't talk like them. I'm not going to act like them. Right. Okay, because I've had too many people come up. Mac, you need to calm down on your speaking. You need to no. You're in the wrong. I'm going to call you to the carpet, and I'm going to give you carpet burn. That's how that works. Mm-hmm. Okay?
And keep in mind, this is rough, though it could be rough talk, but it's fair. You know? We live in a society where nobody wants to point the finger at self, and nobody wants to admit that they might be part of the problem, you know? And without us holding each other accountable, you know? I can't sit here 2 years later with Mac, and if I'm not trying to live my life law-abiding, doing the right thing, raising my family, and be involved in a bunch of stuff, and sit here and not expect to be held accountable, right? We have to hold each other accountable. We have to support each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's all about that. And when he talks like this, what he's saying is that these people have gotten away with it for so long. It's time to change things for the better. Bring it back to where it's supposed to be, you know, right?
So, qualifying's in 4 weeks.
Okay.
So if you'd like to donate to the campaign, you can donate through McGregorforGeorgia.com. We also have all the payments are on there, so you're more than welcome. You can also support a local business, and support my campaign at the same time. If you wish to go buy a T-shirt, that's on there as well. So by all means, if you want somebody like me in office that's ready to get to the not cutting, but hey, it's time to do something about it, George. It really is.
Right.
And it's time for you to stand your ground. It's time. Look, enough is enough. Right? It's time to end this. Okay? And I'm willing to stand beside you. Okay? I'm not going to stand behind you. I'm not or in front of you. I will stand beside you, but I need you to stand beside me, and let's get this done.
Right.
So
that's awesome, man. And I want you to know you got my support, and you got a lot of people's support on here. And Silent No Longer, like I've said before, because I'm not telling you that if you're a part of this group, you have to vote for Mack Mcgregor. I'm just telling you that the admins that formed this group, we are supporting this man for lieutenant governor because we believe in him, and we hope he'll do the same. And we're giving you every opportunity to put your support behind this man, all right? And he is an open book. He'll answer any questions that you have. He'll meet you anywhere you need to be met at.
Yeah,
right? This man is not going to run. I have yet to be able to talk to our current elected officials about anything in particular without them getting mad and walking away.
I'll call you enemy.
I'll call me an enemy. And I don't see them interacting with the people and anything. This man right here is the real deal. So,
Look, let me tell you something. I pushed back on my local government so hard that they've literally called the FBI on me twice, and it was over nothing.
there you go. People are scared. We're in a new time, and no matter what happens in this next election, this man's not going to stop. Okay, none of us are going to stop. We're going to keep going, and we're going to keep going through everything. You can silence us. You can take away all the social media. You're not going to stop us. You're not going to stop the community that we have built here. All right, it is by the people for the people. And it's for law-abiding citizens who just want to live and be left alone. Okay? So, anything else, brother?
No, other than Georgia, look, enough's enough. And we need to really pray hard because we really need to bring God back.
Yes, we do.
Not only into this state, but into this country, period.
Yep.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Hey, we've kind of figured out how to do this, and I'm only going to try to get better. I'm working on setting up a studio now that's going to be able to bring more people in. I've been reached out by other people that are running that want to come on, and so, like this is grassroots, right? And this is us working, sleeping, and coming in. So we're going to try to get better, and we're going to get more. Maybe we can get Mac back again, and maybe
you just call me. I'll look.
We'll get some more. We got 2,000 people in this group. We only had 4. Come on, we got 5 now. We've got some more people coming in, but come on. We need people. This is a perfect opportunity to ask your questions, okay? Because you can ask him anything, and he's going to answer it. But we'll do this again now that we kind of got it rolling, and we're going to post the other video to Small Town Underground. It's been dormant for a month because it's been busy, but we're going to keep going. But we appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and end here, and then it'll be up so you can continue to share the videos and get it out there, and let's put our support behind this man. And,
absolutely, Brian. I greatly appreciate it. But
yes, Brian Queen. Hey, great man. Good luck, Mac. I'm with you. Thank you, Brian, for that. We appreciate it. And just tell everybody about it. He's got signs, shirts. Let's support him. Let's give him money. And let's see to it.
Yeah, because like I said, qualifying's coming up.
Yeah.
That's what the establishment is waiting on, if I'm going to be able to qualify or not.
Right.
Let's qualify. And then the fight's really on. Because then you're really going to see what they're capable of doing on putting me down.
Right. Amen. And I'm just telling you in front of everybody, if we need to throw something together, if we can help you in any way, if we can get out and do some grassroots stuff, you let us know. We've got people with boots on the ground that can continue to help out. And we urge people out there, if you want to get involved, send me a message, send Mac a message, say, hey, what can I do to help? Because that's what it's all about. It's all about helping each other. And even if you don't, I say this because I know I've got all kinds of friends that they're going to vote the way they're going to vote, but look, we need to be supporting each other no matter what. You know, we're all on the same team, no matter who's running for governors. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about rhinos, but I'm talking about our grassroots people. Okay, we're going to help everybody out, and because the more that we are involved in this, the more ruckus we make on this ground floor. Look what we've been able to do just doing what we're doing. So we have to have more people involved. All right. So find ways to help, find ways to give. All right. But thank you, and we're going to sign off here. So bye, everybody.